it's easy to give up or just to be like, you know what, I just don't want to do it. But there's a saying in Ivory Coast that says, découragement n'est pas ivoirien, which means like we don't give up. Like it's not Ivorian to give up. So like you have to find a way to make it happen.
Like they say, I walk into the jeweler around me. That stone better not look cloudy. Everything set or the men get rowdy.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of Chop It Up, where we speak with predominantly Black and Brown creators. We ask them questions about their life, them creating a life for themselves, what that looks like for them. And we love to dive through culture, entrepreneurship, and many other things. And today we have a very special guest hailing all the way from the CIV, Côte d'Ivoire. We have Jean-Bruce Koua. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lebanon. Thank you very much for having me today.
So you came to Canada with nothing but a dream and a suitcase. And you didn't even know where you're going to live. So that's when I was researching you. That's one of the things I found.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Honestly, it was stressful. It was scary. And yeah, like stressful and scary, I want to say, because like I came here as an international student. Was right after graduation from high school. I remember when I got accepted into university, I think it was in like February 2017. So two things happened. One, I missed the deadline to apply for residence to live on campus. And two, it was like looking like a blessing in disguise in the sense that by me missing it, I hadn't really realized how expensive living on campus was until I started doing the numbers. And so I realized that, okay, from February until I come to Canada, I have to find a place to stay. And like I went through all the different platforms. So like the ones you already know, like to find a place to stay. And I just couldn't find it. And like I had like pressure from my parents as well to like find a place to stay, because like I need to find a place. I need to stay somewhere when I come to Canada. And so I was looking. And then I remember when I came here, because I came here with my mom, because my mom pretty much dropped me off. Like she came, made sure that like I was doing good, and then she left. And I remember when we came, like I spent a few days in the hotel because I was still looking for a place to stay off campus. And then we eventually found something. And like the whole process was like super stressful, you know. But I'm glad we found something. Now, of course, there were other challenges with that as well, which I can dive deeper into. But yeah, like the whole process was just pretty like stressful and scary.
As I was researching you, one of the things that kept coming up is you're known as the master of making things happen. So how did you get that little phrase? Like, let us know more about it. And what does it mean to be a master of making things happen?
The master of making things happen is if anything needs to get done and I'm put in charge to make it to get it done, I'll make it happen. Yeah. So like, if I have to go like above and beyond to make it happen, I will go above and beyond to make it happen. But the reason, essentially where this comes from is that I guess that's also how I sort of like became an entrepreneur. Like I didn't like wake up one day and was like, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur. It's more of like I had those different, I don't want to say skills or traits or attributes that sort of like made me sort of shaped me into an entrepreneur. Because I remember like whenever there would be like a task for me to do, or like my parents would ask me to do something, like even like a small little thing. I remember this one time, my dad asked me to like, he wanted to watch, his friends came over and he wanted to watch like a video that was recorded from like a previous event. And he told me like, hey, can you make it? Can you like put it on the TV for me to watch? And so I tried the easy step and I went through it and tried and it just wasn't working. Like I tried like I had to like get very creative in finding a way to make it work. And even he told me, he's like, you know what, if you don't get it to work, it's fine. I was like, yeah, no, like I know there's a way to make it happen. And so I found a way. I had to get creative to connect this one plug here to that one plug there to make it work, because the TV wasn't like in the best shape. And then when I finished making it happen, since like, okay, it works now, I told him it works, but we need to change the TV because the TV is in a bad shape. So we need to change that. Which the reason why I'm telling you this story is because there has been many times whereby like we have a challenge that we face, even when we're building the platform with Elev, for example, or even at work or like in school and all that stuff. And it's easy to give up or just to be like, you know what, I just don't want to do it. But there's a saying in Ivory Coast that says, it says, découragement n'est pas ivoirien, which means like, we don't give up. Like it's not Ivorian to give up. So like you have to find a way to make it happen. And so that's what the mindset that I have. And that's essentially what led me to like becoming the master of making things happen.
Yeah, so you are one of the co-founders and COO of ElevHomes,
Yes.
which is an app and a platform that helps provide students with housing
Yes.
at is it affordable cost?
Yeah.
And like safe space so that they can focus on their studies.
Yeah.
So in creating that, what has that experience been like? Because I believe it's 2020 or like your last year of university at the U of A.
Oh, my last university was I graduated last year.
Okay.
But I finished in the fall of 2022.
So you started it before?
Yeah, started before. Yeah.
Okay.
I started when I was in university. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So like that process, how has it been like?
Whew.
It's like, because from my research, now let me tell you, okay? Go and Google his name. And if you do not have that many articles about you, think about your life. Because of all the people, I love all of y'all. But even me, I was like, hey, I need to upgrade my life. I need to get on this level.
Man.
Because the articles were stack. There's a lot that we're going to get into, we can say about you. But before we get into ElevHomes, just give us a little gist of what that process has been like, you know, with ElevHomes.
100%. And thank you very much for saying that. I really appreciate it. So the process of ElevHomes, honestly, I think it has been a very enriching experience. You know, like there are things that have happened that even myself, things that I didn't even believe could happen, right? Like me being here today wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Elev, right? Because I'll be honest with you, like I might seem outgoing and all of that, but like deep down, like I am strongly introverted. Like I have like very strong introvert trait. And like you see with my friends, like people will ask me when you see me interact with other people, like, oh yeah, he's very extrovert and all that. But like like deep down, like I have like some very strong introvert traits. Yeah. But that also doesn't stop me to sort of like go out there and, you know, like try new things and just go out there and, you know, make things happen. Now the process of starting Elev, it pretty much started out of like university. It started off as a passion project. You know, me and my other two co-founders, we sort of went through the experience of looking for housing together. And we all had like each individual experiences, but it just connected to the fact that like it was hard, it was challenging, and there wasn't really something that was like just for students. And the other thing about Elev is that we know that like the different platforms that are out there, they only help you until you find a place. But the reality of things is there's more, the real challenge happens once you find that place and you live in that place. Yeah. And so what we wanted to do with Elev is we're thinking like, how do we build a platform that will sort of like help the students from looking to finding to also living off campus. And so sort of like build that into the platform and like sort of provide experience for students that are having those different challenges. But yeah, no, we were a bunch of university students, started as a passion project. To be honest, there have been times where, like in the beginning at least, whereby we just, like there wasn't as much effort being put in or there wasn't as much work being put in. And there were times where we were like discouraged, like we just didn't want to do it. But the beauty of having passionate co-founders is that it also like motivates you to also like put in the effort, right? So like seeing that, okay, today I might be down today, but like I see like the other two co-founders are actually putting in the work. It's like, okay, now I actually need to pick up my slack and then just like go out there and make the work happen.
So I want to let the people know you, because I think when I was researching you, it was like, there's so much about what you've done, but who are you? Like, who is Jean? Who are you? Like, I mean, that's a blank question, but let's go into a segment called Chop Choices. So it's kind of like a this or that. So I give you two things and you kind of let me know which one you would prefer. Yeah. So the first one is, correct me if I'm wrong, because my Togolese people, the French is not Frenching. We have tried. I know I am a disgrace to Togo with this non-existent French and language. But so the first one is acheke, or you can correct me.
Yeah, acheke. Yeah.
Okay, acheki.
Acheki.
Yeah. Hey, okay, we'll go and practice at home. Or futu. Which futu? is what other African countries might call fufu. It's called futu in Côte d'Ivoire, and it is, correct me if I'm wrong, when they pound plantains.
Yeah.
Is it only plantain or
So it could either be just plantain or it could be plantain mixed with yam.
yam? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And I know that in Côte d'Ivoire it's the sweet. You guys pound the sweet plantain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. And plantain is called. Ooh, I should remember this in French. What do they call? Ooh, no, I know that it's coming. It's coming. Oh, the Togolese side, please speak to me. No. How am I forgetting what? I'm thinking platanos, but that's Spanish.
Like plantain as like the chopped ones?
Yeah, no, like what you guys call plantain? Sorry, in Côte d'Ivoire.
Oh, in Côte d'Ivoire, we call it aloko.
How can I miss that? You know what's funny? When I was in Senegal,
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
we just got to Senegal. This is when I was like, let me get your French. Because, anyway, so we get there, we tell the man, we want plantain. Like, we think he's going to bring, this man brings us drinks. He brings us drinks. And then we're like, okay, thanks for the drinks. You know, African drinks are strong. Then we're like, oh, can we, like, where's the plantain coming? Then he brings us drinks again.
Come on, man.
So then after, we're like talking to him. He's like, oh, like we were looking for a plantain, like, and then he was like, oh, you guys mean
Aloko, yeah.
Like, oh, I know. How did I miss Aloko? I know it's Aloko. But because apparently, I think there's a drink in Senegal called planta.
Planta, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So because he heard plantain,
he thought it was planta. Oh.
You see, life is too short. But yes, would you rather acheke or futu?
Man, that's a very tough question.
Very tough.
Oh.
Especially for Ivorians.
Oh yeah.
Very tough.
Oh yeah, that's very tough because like Ivorians like will live by acheke. There's a meal, actually acheke, there's a meal that's called gaba.
Gaba, yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
That's like you can just go down the streets, you ask for like gaba singson, and then they like put like the acheke with the condiment and like a fried fish with some oil that like it hasn't been changed since I don't know, maybe years. Like that's how old the oil is.
Yeah.
But then so acheke or futu, oh man. You know what? I would say futu because I haven't had it in so long. Like in so
fair.
long.
So
yeah.
do you not have it in Canada?
Oh, I just don't know who.
Oh, okay, so you don't make it like yourself personally.
Yeah, I don't make it.
So unless you like go home or you're around other Ivorians, then you would have it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. But do you get your acheke then?
Like acheke, sometimes my mom ships it to me.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a plug. There's a guy from Ivory Coast who sells it to my mom.
Really?
Yeah, he lives in Edmonton and he brings it straight from CIV.
I need like
okay,
I'll
ask my mom after.
Please,
See,
like,
look at us sharing important things.
No, please.
Yeah, he brings it. Yes, I'll get you that. So I see you like to travel based on your page. So would you prefer like a solo trip or do you like to explore as a group?
Well, it depends. Is it like I'm traveling for vacation or is it?
Yeah. Well, from your page, I see a little vacation, but I see a lot of work.
Yeah.
So let's go with vacation because I think work might be group. Maybe it's you and somebody else, or maybe it's you representing the company.
Yeah.
So let's go with vacation.
So vacation, I would say as a group. As a group is fun. Yeah.
Oh, you're a group person.
Yeah. So
I'm
as a
completely
group,
opposite.
yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because I haven't like really traveled with like my friends yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if I travel, like when I do long travels, like I would just go see my family.
Oh,
and
okay.
With my siblings, is like it's just a vibe. So we just
That makes sense. See, community people, they like groups. So, would you rather watch a soccer match or go to a games night?
These are some very like.
Oh, obviously you can like
questions,
both, but which one would you like lean towards more?
You know, I think I would say a games night.
Okay, interesting. I was expecting you to say soccer.
Oh yeah, no. So the thing is, I wouldn't mind watching a soccer. Well, the soccer that I would watch right now is like the Ivory Coast.
Yeah,
because we've won the AFCON.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Yes,
I can't wait till we get to that. Like that's 2-1. That's 2-1. Like that one, just
or football. Is it called football? Okay, all right.
Football. Yeah. But I think I would say games night. I'm just gonna say games night because of I work a lot, I don't have as much time to like spend with my friends.
Okay.
And so whenever like the friend group, they're like, oh, let's do games night. I'm like, yep, I'm there. So I can find a way to like clear my schedule to make it happen for them. For that. Because it's like I already know that I'm not doing as much as I should to like keep up with the friendship and the relationship. Like I already know that but the reason was that because of work. And so like whenever they're like, oh, let's go for games night, I'm like, okay, let me find a way. Even though I have like, even if unless it's like super important that I cannot skip, I cannot skip, I cannot miss it. Like I found a way to make happen for the games night so that like I know I haven't been there the whole time, but games night I'll be there and then we catch up and then make up for lost time.
Okay,
So
makes
yeah,
sense. Because I was
think games
expecting
night-
the football match, but what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Traditional Ivorian music or coupe décalé.
Oh wow. Oh, so when it's traditional, is it like the
It could be like the drums. It could be like maybe like things that family and friends culturally when you come together. Like what do you hear? Like what the traditional rhythms.
yeah? No, you know what? I think I would say. I mean, I grew up with coupe de Cali, so I would say coupe de Cali for me.
Okay, good. Because I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As somebody who used to dance, I would read a lot about different dance styles.
Yeah.
Coupe de Cali being one of my favorites. What is the history exactly of it? You can give us a tiny. Do you know the history?
So I don't really know as much as the history because like I haven't really like looked into it. But I think coupe de Cali started with like it was there was this one group. They were called
If you don't remember them, it's okay.
yeah, I forgot because why? Because I know one of them is called Moulard. The other one is he passed. Like his death was like he was like a
Is
national
it DJ
jock.
Afarat?
No, Arafat. DJ Arafat.
yeah.
Arafat was like also like another like national shock. But then the other one was I forgot his name. Like I see his paper, I forgot his name. But even when he died, like the whole country like came like it was like a pause because like he was the one that was like sort of like started the whole like coupe de Cali and like Jet Set. There you go. Jet Set was the group.
Okay.
And they were all in I think like in France.
Okay.
And the thing is that like I may be wrong.
Yeah.
But the Jet Set was like it was like a gentleman's club.
Okay.
You know, like, and they like to like show off.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, and that's how the whole vibe. And then they came back and like the stuff like I think they brought coupe de Cali. But then now I could be totally wrong.
It's okay.
You know, I could be totally wrong. So don't
it's
take
okay.
me-
No
yeah.
worries. No worries.
Yeah.
I put you on the spot with that one. But
Yeah.
next one is because you like travel or maybe hanging out with friends and family. Would you prefer kind of being at the beach or are you more like mountain adventure?
Oh, the beach.
Okay,
The beach. Yeah, the beach. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe the Canada's rubbed in on you and you like the mountains that much.
No,
Okay.
it's the beach for me. Yeah.
So we're going to go into our proverb picks. So this segment, I look up proverbs from the specific country that our guests come from. And sometimes I don't even understand them myself. But I picked this one from Côte d'Ivoire. And I'm going to read it in English because the French is not Frenching. And it says, so I'm going to read it to you and you can kind of give me a gist of what you think it means. There's no right or wrong answers because proverbs can be taken anyway.
Yeah.
In the village that you don't know, the chickens have teeth. Yes, give us the wisdom.
That's a very good. That's a very good one. You know, dans le village que tu connais pas, les poules ont des dents. So now from my understanding of this proverb is that so in an area like you're not familiar with and you don't really know anybody as much. Most of the chickens have teeth. The chickens are the ones that sort of like communicate because you know how like chicken like so they're the ones that sort of like communicate the information, so like pass the information around. And so I think there's like another connotation with chickens being like people that just talk a lot, or like when you talk a lot, it's like like shh, you talk too much. And so like I've heard that like for example like because I know I was sometimes like joke with my siblings and be like, you talk too much, like a chicken, just making noise, like just stop talking. It's just noise. And so I feel like when you don't know anybody in a particular area, whoever you meet first, like you shouldn't really take what they say like at face value. Like you shouldn't take it like right away because like they could just be talking. You know, they just be saying things, and because you don't know the area, you might think like this is what the area is, and so people do here, when in fact it's not. And so instead, like we use chicken, it's like, oh, chickens that have teeth are the ones that like they'll just talk, but then just double check your facts first. Don't take what they say. Yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
I like
So,
that. I like that.
That's what I think he means. Yeah.
Yeah. So you grew up and you're born and grew up in Côte d'Ivoire
Born in Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah.
and raised in Côte d'Ivoire. So what would people describe you as a child? Like, what were things that people said? Oh, Jean was like this, or you were like that, or well, like, what were common things you were hearing a lot?
I don't know what the word is in English, but I think it's actually there might be a word for it. It's turbulent. So it's like turbulence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So just a lot of
just too much energy.
Energy.
Like I had too much energy.
okay.
And what is I remember like as a kid,
Mhm.
like I was just running around, like just like making not really like causing trouble, but like I just had too much energy. I remember once my mom told me that I managed to get so where we used to live before, like on the wall, there were like holes, like it was designed with like holes, like holes to like allow like airflow right into the building. And so she told me like once I got so curious that I managed to get my head stuck in one of those holes. It was like
Oh, like
tiny
those
holes.
like
Yeah, it's like tiny holes.
Nice.
Because for some reason I was just curious to see what was on the other side.
mm.
But the hole was not enough, so I had to like go through the hole. And she told me like I managed to get stuck in between. Like,
So you were just like everybody was on alarm when they're
Yeah.
around you because like they didn't know what you was gonna do next.
exactly. I think I
Interesting.
was like what, like maybe like 6 when that happened.
I mean, you were
Yeah.
making things happen then, and you're making
Exactly.
things happen now. So
exactly.
it worked out.
Exactly. As a child, I was like, I just had a lot of energy, and I remember like it like got to the point where I think I'd be like grade 8.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I had so much energy, and like sometimes like I would get like into arguments
Mm.
because of like because like I'm like I'm right and you're wrong and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I got to the point where like so in middle school, like how you get to like register for like I think it's like when you can do like soccer, you can play
You're like
basketball,
like
yeah.
other like
Yeah,
hobbies or activities,
exactly,
extracurricular,
extracurricular
yeah.
activities, yeah. And so like I was playing football, soccer,
Mhm.
and it got to the point where for one semester, my parents took me out of any other sports and they put me in yoga.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
See, I found that about you too. So you were doing yoga at a young age, and it wasn't like to keep you like
Yeah.
grounded and
Yeah.
sound. That's such an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So is this something you still do now?
No, I don't do it.
Did you
But
do it for
I
quite a
do-
while?
Sorry, yeah, like I did for like in this for like a semester, but then after that, like I've used the different like the things I learned in yoga, like I still do it. Like to
Okay.
just like
So let us know,
calm
like,
down.
what things did you learn from yoga that you still use now?
Just to take deep breath,
Take deep
like
breath.
just breathe,
Like get yourself
breathe.
grounded.
Yeah, just grounded, like relax.
Mm.
It's fine, just chill, like sit down and just relax.
So it was, even though it was not something people would automatically think,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it actually
Yeah.
helped you and you still use it today.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is good. So what are some things about Côte d'Ivoire
Uh-huh.
that you would want people to know? Because I think whenever people are on social media
Mhm.
and they read things about the continent,
Mhm.
I'm not going to name the countries,
Yeah.
but there's certain countries that are like everybody hears about.
Yeah.
And I think, and I want to
Uh-huh.
get more francophones and more conversations because
Mhm.
if people look at GD,
Yeah.
like if you look at Côte d'Ivoire, listen, look at the streets, look at the
Yeah.
roads,
Yeah.
look at the real estate.
Uh-huh.
They're doing well. I
Yeah.
know every country has its issues,
Yeah.
but Côte d'Ivoire is a beautiful country. It's a beautiful place to visit. The food, top
Oh
notch.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So let people know, like, what are things that people may not know about Côte d'Ivoire that you want them to know? You're like, right now you're speaking as an ambassador of your country.
Ambassador of Côte d'Ivoire. Okay.
It can be like, let's make it 3 things to make it easier for you.
Okay. So I'll be frank with you, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been back in a very long time.
Okay, so since you
Yeah.
came or just in a
Like,
while?
Yeah, like since I came.
okay.
Yeah. So like it's been I think it's been like almost 10 years now.
Oh,
that I
wow,
haven't been
okay.
back. But I'm planning, like I really want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I want to say that you need to know about Côte d'Ivoire is that like there's something that say in Côte d'Ivoire you can never be sad. Because like there's just so many, like the way we operate as Ivorians is there's a saying that says la joie de vivre, which is like just like you're just happy to be alive, And so like every day, like the things that happen were like you look at him like, how could you even do this? You know, it's like, how did that even happen? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like the vibes and
Yeah.
the people, they're very welcoming, and just like a lot of like great vibes over there. So like,
vibes.
you can never be sad. Like that's one thing about
Okay,
Côte
go to
d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire. You can never be
You can
sad.
never be sad. You can never be
Okay,
sad.
so upon talking to you, you mentioned that you lived in Tanzania
Yes.
for some time.
Yes.
So yeah, like what was the age range of that? And let us know a little bit more of that
Yeah.
experience living in Tanzania.
Yeah. No, Tanzania. I would say Tanzania is where I sort of like discovered, like, learned more about life.
Okay.
Because-
Okay.
Yeah. So because I was in Côte d'Ivoire until I was 10,
Okay.
and then from 10 to about like 17, 18 before coming to university, so from grade 6 till like grade 12.
Yeah.
Like I was in Tanzania, and so what was it like? I think the first thing first was the culture shock, right? Because Tanzania and Côte d'Ivoire.
I was gonna say, because
Yeah.
living in a country in West Africa
Yeah.
and then moving to East Africa, even though
Yeah.
there are similarities, there are also differences.
Yeah.
There's weather, there's
Yeah.
this and that. So like, what was that? Do you remember what that shift was like, or was it just like, I'm a kid, this is all fun, woohoo?
Oh yeah, no. The shift. Well, I didn't have any friends at first, so I didn't know anybody there.
Also,
Yeah,
did you speak English? I'm trying to think of language barrier.
I did.
So
not
were there-
speak
there was a
English.
language
There was
barrier
a language barrier
when you got to
yes.
Tanzania? Okay,
Yes. Yeah. Like there was
interesting.
no English in my system. And so the cool thing though is that I went to the French school.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the French school for schooling. But then I remember after school, I'll come back that's when my dad would also come back from work, and he would like sit me down and teach me English.
Oh
So
wow.
so like it was a very very interesting experience. But yeah, I will learn English. Of course, learning English in class at school. And with the French school, so yeah, I went to the French school. I didn't know anybody there, but I started making friends. But yeah, no, after that, like I had to like figure out how to speak English. And then once because from grade 6 till grade 9, it was all in French. And then from grade 9, I had to go to the international school because like the school at the time, like, they didn't have like anything after grade 9.
Yeah.
And so I had to like figure that out. And so like the transition was pretty interesting because all my schooling was in French, and then going to grade 10, like everything was in English.
Oh,
And so that was like a
huge shift.
huge shift. Yeah. But what happened though was that when I went to the school, like I had to take like one extra class because like an extra class that was sort of like get me up to speed with like for English. So like I was like taking classes to learn English, and then like stuff like learn how to better speak English, understand the material in class. And then I think that's from then that's where I sort of like learn how to speak English.
Okay.
And like my English, I feel like at this point I feel like my English has gotten better than my French.
Okay.
And so I was talking to another friend, and I was like, yeah, I need to find a way to keep to practice my French because I might lose it.
But it's a good skill to have, especially on this side of Canada.
Yeah.
Because one thing I realized while since ago, I was like, in Canada, we have things in French. It's in French,
Yeah.
but because my mind has just been like, oh, English. Like
Yeah.
even our packaging, even like on the plane,
Yeah.
even like it's everywhere. But
Yeah.
because like my mind is so keen on like looking at the English side of it.
Yeah.
But then when I was there, I was like, oh, no, I know what this is because we have this and it says it's in French. So
Yeah.
that awareness, I think it's good to like keep,
Yeah.
like, do you speak any other languages other than French and English?
Like I know some Spanish, like a little bit of Spanish, because I had to do it in class.
Oh, okay.
In school. Kiswahili, like not so much.
Oh,
Like, I know
okay.
a few words, and I know like a very few words in Wolof.
Wolof. Okay,
Very
interesting.
few words, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the Wolof,
Guess where that's from?
Senegal.
There you go.
And Gambia. No, but the thing is that I'm wondering, where did you learn Wolof?
Because I went to Senegal. I traveled.
So you traveled there or you lived there?
I traveled for like a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My family was there.
Okay, so
Actually, they are there right now. They're currently living there.
you're one of those kids that like they've moved across
Yeah.
the continent. But do you speak like the local mother tongue that you from Côte d'Ivoire, like your parents' languages as well?
Yeah. So in Côte d'Ivoire, there's like you know how in Nigeria, I think it's pidgin,
Yeah.
right? So in Côte d'Ivoire, there's one, but it's called like Nushi.
Nushi.
Nushi,
Okay.
yeah. And so like that's like a language where like unless you're it's pretty fast paced. It's French,
Okay.
but like like a remix version of
Okay,
French. Yeah,
okay.
that's how we speak. So like that one I understand it.
Mhm.
I speak it. And then the other one, like my parents' mother tongue, that's something that I'm also learning. Like I told my mom, and I was like, hey, I want to learn. Like give me let's practice. Like let's start speaking like a few words together because like of course, God forbid, let's say for example, once they retire into the other world,
Yeah.
that's it. Like we don't know how to speak the language.
Yeah,
so
that's
then-
one thing a lot of Africans in the diaspora having this conversation about how are we going to keep our cultures when like it's a lot of the time our parents hold the culture.
Exactly.
So like how are we going to like extend it
Yeah.
is one of the key things.
Yeah.
So Côte d'Ivoire, Tanzania, Senegal, maybe some other places in the mix. When was the decision to come to Canada? Like, did you express interest, or were your parents like, you go to Canada? Like, what was that process like?
Yeah. So for Canada, it was mostly so I had a choice to either like go either Europe or North America or like so US or Canada.
Okay.
And for me, like I didn't want to go to Europe. I was most interested in like going to like North America.
Okay.
Like it was either gonna be between US and Canada. Now, the big factor that played a role was the money. The tuition fees that come with like, and I knew that like as international students in the US, it was going to be crazy. And I know that also in Canada, it's also going to be crazy, but it's cheaper than in the US. And so I wanted to study economics. And back then, the top 3 economics school, like undergrad, were UBC, U of T, and U of A.
Okay.
Now, U of T, the tuition fee,
I know.
UBC as well. I was like,
I know.
And the U of A was like, oh, that's relatively cheaper.
Yeah.
And they also gave me a scholarship as well. And so it was like, oh well, there you go. Like I'm just gonna go to the U of A. And so like to me coming to Canada was like started mostly for school. And so it wasn't like the choice was pretty much like for schooling. And so that's how I sort of like ended up here at the
So when upon arriving to Canada, because you came with a suitcase and a dream and no place to stay. What was that like?
Coming to Canada?
Yeah, like when you came as an international student,
Yeah.
was like you getting off the plane, the cold, because you've been living in a hot climate. Like what was that like? Also like any culture shocks or things that you experienced?
No, it was how do I say this? I was just like excited.
Okay.
I was excited. I was like, oh, like this is gonna be my new place. I'm in Canada. Not going for school.
And you didn't know anybody?
Oh, no, I didn't know anybody. Yeah,
Ooh,
I
okay.
didn't know anybody. Yeah, because the thing is like I have my aunt, but she lives in Montreal.
Okay,
Yeah,
which
so,
is like
she was in,
the hub for iPhone.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there was her, but here like probably like knew like well I didn't know anybody, but like my mom had a friend whose uncle lives in Edmonton.
Okay.
And so we met with him, and then after that I just didn't know anybody. And so like it was just a lot of just like new things. And I was like, oh, like because I came here open minded. I was like, you know what? I'll just learn, discover. So whatever it is, I'll just take it as is. And so just like stuff like when they're just curious to just explore things, and and then even like the process of even like making friends. Like I remember it till this day how anxious I was to make friends because like my heart was racing, and it was like it was at a point where because it was during like orientation week at the U of A, and I remember I was just there by myself, and like people like I guess either I got there late or whatever, but like people were already like in groups, so like they were like one circle here, one circle there, one circle there. So I was like, okay, I don't know anybody here, so now either I stay here and that's it, or I just don't like go out there and make friends. Or I just like, you know what? Let me just go and just try at least to make some friends. So I remember there was like a group of people like they were literally like talking by themselves, and I just went and I was like, "Hi, my name is Jean Bruce. I'm a new student, international student as well. And I just just wanted to come and say hi." And then they were very welcoming. They're like, "Oh, hey, hi, my name is this. I'm doing this and that." And then from there, that was like my first friend group that I ever made. And then from there,
Amazing.
yeah,
amazing. So what was like some of the culture shocks you faced or you saw? Like what are things that you remember that like stand out to you?
Culture shocks. Like I'm trying to.
Maybe there was none. Who knows?
They're probably yeah. Like right now, I don't. You see, the reason why like I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
as well, like it's because I came with an open mind. I was like,
Mm.
you know what, anything is just gonna happen. I just
Mhm.
like and so I wasn't really like as much as a shock.
Was there like any like was the food shock? Was it like just like the day to day or like the system of schools? See?
I remember the
Oh.
culture shock.
Uh-huh.
So coming from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we are a very like community.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
very communal. Like
Mhm.
everyone is together and
Yeah.
all that stuff, But then when I came here, it's like a lot of like my own. Like it's like just me. It's just like
Individuality.
individuality. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's just like doing their own thing. Like they're all like there's nothing wrong. Like the people are nice. Like you talk to them, you just know it's great. But like, there's like a lot of individuality in there. And so that was a culture shock. Another one that I just remember. Another one is like you don't know your neighbor.
True.
Like people don't know, like I don't know who my neighbor is or like what did like I don't know anybody else around me. So like you don't know who your neighbors are. Like people don't go out to the neighbors just like knock and be like, hey, how are you? How's everything? Let me just grab some salt or like I need this and that. But like back where I'm from, it's like if I need salt, I just like walk down the streets. Or if I need this one thing, or if I know who my neighbors are.
Yeah.
But
You know
then
the
here-
community.
I know the community,
But
but then
you
here
don't.
I
Everybody's
don't.
like strangers.
Exactly.
Unless
yeah.
you make the effort to get to know them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so yeah, this was some pretty culture shocks I
So
had.
let's get into ElevHomes.
Mhm.
Yes, your
Yep.
bread and butter.
Yep.
So you created this platform. How
Mm-hmm.
is it going so far?
so far, it's going well.
Okay.
It's about to be
Even
better.
okay.
Like
And what do
over-
you don't have to give us all the gist because obviously
Yeah.
all the things. But what does better mean?
Oh, I can't really say much
Yeah, of
because
course,
of
of
the
course.
of the NDA,
Mhm.
but there's a
Things are coming.
like a big thing that's coming. Like a
Okay.
big thing that's coming. And I think probably by the time people watch this video, it probably would be out.
Okay.
But like
So stay tuned for that.
yeah, exactly. But like it's actually getting really exciting right now.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. So, in creating this platform and
Mm-hmm.
this community, I see a lot on social media that your company or your business, you do a lot of videos with a lot of students.
Yeah.
Which I think I haven't really seen on other like businesses that are like student based, and you
Yeah.
give them questions,
Yeah.
you provide them with advice. So,
Yeah.
who came up with that? Because I think it's very genius. Because you're hearing from like the students themselves, and a lot of
Yeah.
times we don't hear from students themselves.
Yeah. So who came up with that? I think we all came like the team came
Yeah.
up with it. Like it was like in the like we're having discussions, just thinking about like how do we get more students involved with the platform, and like essentially the idea itself, like itself like came from the fact that like our foundation, our principle is to make it student first. So like make sure that like we're helping students, of course, find housing off campus, but also living off campus. And so you think about it like, okay, what would you have wanted to know as a student, right? Before you came to university or as university, like what would you have wanted to know? And we realized like if I myself give the advice every time, they won't take it. But if you hear from other students that have done, it's like, oh wow, like this person's done this, done that. Let's get like this actually like pretty good advice. And so we figured it would be very important to have like the students at the center of the whole process. And so with that process, we sort of like wanted to like get more students involved and just have them like, hey, look, this is what we do. We're literally helping students find like not helping students find housing, but like also like want to like build a community of students. And so we sort of like went with that process of we have this platform, we have the ability to like push it further, and so we can work with you. And every time we work with all the students that we work with, student groups that we work, we don't like there's no fee or whatever, because it's like most student groups, unless there is an event that's happening or there's like a competition or whatever, like unless there's an event, they won't really get the platform for them to like share what they do. And so we figured, why wait until there's an event for them to share what they do? Like, let's just go and meet them, just talk to them, and then essentially like.
So, I think the main question that a lot of people would have when it comes to a platform like this is kind of the legalities of it. And I know you can't obviously say everything, but I see it as ElevHomes kind of being the middleman between the student and the landlords. So what is that process like? Like, what is that vetting process? What is like, especially my main question would be for like, especially for international students that come and they don't have a credit history. They don't have anybody to kind of vouch for them. Like, how, let me know.
No, that's a very good question. And you know, like, this is something that even I myself went through. Like, we all went through, and we like spend like quite a bit of time like making sure that we can design it in a way that international students can come and like find a place, and landlords can feel like safe. They can feel, they can have, like, be at peace knowing that the student that's coming to the property is like gonna like take care of the property, also like make sure they pay the rent. And so on the side of the students, like if whether when they come in, they have the credit score or they don't have like a rental history or all of that. One thing that's what like students are sort of like are very different. Is that one thing that when you look at those different factors, the reason why they're there is because landlords want to know that they can have someone in the property that's going to make sure that the rent is paid, and that's also going to keep it like in a good shape, right? And so as a student, how do you show that to the landlord that, hey, I may not have a credit score, I may not have all this thing, but I'm a good tenant and I can like pay the rent. And so that's what we come in to like vouch for the students. Now, the way we've done is that we have like on the platform, there's like a profile for the students to sort of like enter different information to make them stand out. And one thing that you will notice about a student is that, especially international students, when you come here for your studies, you need to show that you have enough money for you to live here. You know? And you saw that they also recently increased it from like, essentially, they doubled it now to show that exactly. And so if you show that, that means you came with that money and you have it with you. And so if I come to you as I'm like, hey, look, I literally have $20,000 allocated just for living. That pretty much tells me as a landlord, it's like, oh yes, now like they have the money. Like I can even, I can tell you, I'm like, hey, I can even pay you the 1 year out right now. You know, exactly. And so show that to the landlord. And then also like the other part of like making sure that the students is going to keep the place like well maintained. That is something that I can fabricate. Like in the real world, like you can fabricate that. You know, there's no way for me to prove to like there's no way for landlord for a landlord to check that, oh, this person will actually keep my place my place well while I'm not when they move in, because like I can tell you that I've done it, but like until like you've seen me do it, you wouldn't know. And so one thing that we're doing is that we're actually working with the students to like sort of like, I want to say, educate them in the sense that the fact that you're keeping the place clean, it might seem like a daunting task for you, but it's actually good for you for the future. And so as they live with the platform, they use the platform, we sort of like teach them how to become better tenants.
So it like helps to like improve the repertoire. Like, oh, this landlord will be like, oh, of course, like when they stayed, it was clean.
Exactly.
So like, so is there like, would that be like put under profile? Like, is there like a rating? Like, like
you're asking the right question. You're asking the right question. Yeah,
I hope so.
You're asking the right question. And this is exactly what we are working on. Exactly. So like making sure that we want to use it like a very sustainable way of showing that this student is a good student, and sometimes also on the landlord side that this landlord is also a good landlord, because there are some landlords that may scam other students, right? And this is something that we don't want. And we also work on like vetting that process, like vetting those different like those that would scam or just not be in the good for the landlord. And so like the whole approach has been sort of like the vetting process, making sure that the students is who they say they are, same thing as the landlord. It's something that we also worked on onto the platform, and we're like constantly improving as we move forward.
Okay, so still on this, like when it comes to like the landlords and the students, and you, ElevHomes being that middle ground, how does ElevHomes handle disputes or issues that arise either from either party? Or also another question would be, do you as a team go to these like places, scope it out, check it out? Do you also build relationships with the landlord? Like, take us through.
No, that's a very good question. So like in terms of like disputes, we sort of like vouch for both parties. Okay. So we try to like before we even take any like if any legal steps need to be taken before we even get there, we sort of like get the versions from both parties, because we have had situations where, but like it was challenging between the landlord and the students,
Yeah.
and most of the time, it's about communication. It's just like lack of communication. It's an issue of communication and of understanding,
Okay.
right? Because this one student be like, oh, this landlord is not being respectful of my time because I have work until this time. I have school and then I work and I have to come and study and cook and all that. And they don't want me to make, they don't want me to like make noise after this certain time. And this landlord is like, yeah, well, the students making noise and and I should be asleep. And so it's a matter of like, okay, this is the situation of the students. This is what they're going through. This is the situation of the landlord. This is what they're going through. How can we find that middle ground that's gonna help them sort of like have like an amicable relationship?
Yeah.
And so that's essentially how we go about like the different disputes that we've had.
Okay.
Now, on the latter part, like building the relationship with the landlord, we actually do. Like we do go and scope out some of the different places. And one thing that we also offer is something that we're working on right now is virtual tours.
Okay.
So we actually go down to the property, and that's another way for us to check that the property is actually legit. Is that we go out, we just do a virtual tour. We're currently offering free photo shoots from the properties on the platform. And by doing that, we sort of like check out the place, make sure that it's in good standing, so that when the student comes to the property, they know what they're getting, and they know that they can come to a place that's sort of like will keep them safe over time.
So I saw on the website that has started integrating AI, if I'm correct. So everybody's talking about AI.
Yeah.
People have their yeses, people have their nos. So what are the benefits of AI to ElevHomes? And yeah, like what are the benefits? I'm gonna think on the positive of this.
Yeah, no, the benefits of AI. So this is something that we're currently working on, like
Okay.
on implementing as well. And we're still sort of like figuring a few things out. But some of the benefits that is that like we have some of the work, the different services that we provide are sort of like done, like they're not done, it's not like perfect, but it's better, right? So one service that we offer is roommate matching.
Okay.
So if you're a student and you find a place, or you find a place but like you're looking for another person to live with, or like just in general looking for roommates to look for a place together, we sort of like, you can come onto the platform, sort of like fill out a few questions, and then because other students do the same thing, we sort of like go through the database, and with AI, we'll sort of like use the algorithm to help find like better matches for those potential roommates, and then build that relationship. And so the use of AI is essentially sort of like to, it's pretty much used to support the work that we're already doing,
Okay.
right? So essentially how we go about using AI.
So you don't have to mention all, but
Yeah.
you can let us know a little bit, or give us a little peek into what kind of challenges Elev has faced. Because I'm gonna get into the good after, because there's a lot. But let us know like kind of the challenges you and your team has faced and how you overcame those, or if you're overcoming that.
Yeah. No, that's a very good question. I think, well, there are the challenges that we face. They're twofold. So the first one is external. So like things that we can't necessarily control.
Okay.
So like, for example, the markets,
Yeah.
like with the housing market, the way it is right now, vacancies are super low. So, and the vacancies are super low, and landlords are either looking for, like students are not necessarily the priority.
Yeah.
And so being able to like advocate for students, be like, hey, look, you should definitely listen on the platform, and we have a lot of great students that can like come and live in your property, is definitely something that we're like dealing with, and like finding ways to like overcome those. The other one I want to say that's external is sort of like the different regulations as well, right? Like, for example, recently there was the immigration announcements that they put like a cap on the amount of international students that are coming to the property. It's coming to Canada. Now, these are pros and cons, but these are things like those sort of like regulations, when they put in place, we can't really like do much about it. We can just like adjust the way we go about doing things, right? And then internally, of course, building a business and a startup, it's a lot of there's like a lot of challenges that come with it, and you have to wear many hats. That's also where a part of making things happen coming, in the sense that today I'm working on finances, tomorrow I'm operations, tomorrow the next day I'm talking to customers, and I could just start doing all the different things, because as a startup, you have to like get creative with the money that you have, because until you start making profits, it's like a lot of like bootstrapping and a lot of like grants and a lot of like, and they're finite, right? And so being able to like navigate the seas with the amount of resources that you have is another challenge that we are overcoming. So far, it's going well. So far it's going well. I think, going back to the point of like making things happen, like you have to make it happen. Like you don't have a choice but to make it happen.
Okay, so if you take anything else away from this episode, make things happen. You have to make things happen. So let's get into the positive, the good, because like I said, the accolades are alcalating. Like you want to be Googleable as this man. So
Thank you.
I read that I believe last year you and your team was it the Community Builder Award?
Yeah.
$50,000 in Calgary, right?
That's very correct.
And that's not the only one. I don't know. It was you and ElevHomes and Edmonton Unlimited.
Yeah.
The bus stop.
Oh yeah. The billboards. Yeah.
Listen. And then also the other one is I saw you guys. We traveled to the States.
Yep.
What is the secret sauce for winning all these things? Because I feel like these are a lot of like pitch competitions. You have to be speaking, public speaking. You have to sell your brand.
Yeah.
So congrats on all
Thank
that.
you.
And for anybody who maybe they want to be an entrepreneur or they're just inspired by your story, what kind of tips would you tell them to like for getting that win? What's the secret sauce?
Oh man, no, thank you. And not good. Like these are. You know how they say that it's very like it's easy to sort of like lose track of things because like you're so focused on the work that you don't get time to actually celebrate.
Yeah.
I feel like when those different like things happen, we sort of like take time to actually like be in the moment and be like, yes, guys, we worked hard, we did it. Between now and until the end of the night, let's enjoy because tomorrow is back to work. And so like it's very happy to like have all these different accolades and like being able to like like be recognized for the hard work that we do. But when it comes to like the hard work and like the being able to like win those different things, honestly, I think if you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you want to get started, you need to understand that it will be like it's not easy, it's not hard, it's not impossible,
Okay.
but it's challenging. And you need to accept that as an entrepreneur, there are many challenges that are going to come your way, and you need to love overcoming challenges because they're going to be there. Obstacles are going to be there. But as long as you keep your mind that like, look, this is just another challenge. It's just another challenge. It's not like, oh, I've done like 20 challenges. Like, no, don't even count those. It's just another challenge. What's the lesson here? And what do I take from that challenge to the next challenge? And like stuff like use that to sort of like help you navigate those different things because some of the different like pitch competitions that we won and like some awards that we received, it was pretty much like just being a lot of like persistency, being persistent, just going out there and like trying. And like I'm not going to lie to you, like I was saying earlier, like I am like I have some very strong introverted traits.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for my co-founders because they have sort of like pushed me to just go out there and just give it a shot. Because I remember the first time I was pitching, oh man, like I was just like, I was shaking, I was nervous, I was just everything. But then like the more I did it, the more I got confidence and then the better things got. And so, persistence, gotta be resilient and just accept that it might not work out the way you want it to go, but just get the lesson from it and just move on to the next one.
So going into that, you are in like a leadership role, right?
Yeah.
You and your co-founders. Yeah. So what would you say is kind of like your leadership style? And also, are there any kind of mentors or people you looked up to that you kind of followed their leadership style or took things from them?
Yeah. That's a very good question. My leadership style is that I am more of a, here's a structure. Okay. This is the end goal that we're looking for. This is what we have. This is the layout that we have. Now, you are free to get creative and do what you think is best as long as we get to this point. So I'm more of like a, not laissez-faire, but it's more of like, I'm not going to like micromanage you unless you show me that you need to be micromanaged. because there has been like, because I had the opportunity to like work with different people, and they were saying like different style, and sometimes like I've like I had to like learn the hard way, but then like sometimes some people just like need to know exactly what they need to do. You know, you need to tell them exactly. I need A, B, C, D,
Direct.
and then exactly, yeah. Others are like, it's like there's more leeway. It's like, okay, so this is the vision. This is what we're trying to do. This is how we usually do things. This is what we're trying to get. What can you do? And then just go out there and just run with ideas, get creative, and just like come in. And so I'm very like flexible in understanding that some people need A, B, C, Ds. Others just need A and E, and then they'll figure out everything in between. And so it's more of like, you know, be able to like understand people, how they work, and just like going like working around it. Now, it wasn't easy to learn that because I myself, number one, is I know how to get things done.
Yeah.
And so unless you are going to do the things that like unless you're able to do the things the way I do things, I wouldn't let you do it. Like I wouldn't let go. So it was hard to let go at times.
Yeah.
But then I've learned to like, you know what? I can sort of like let go, but also like be involved in the process.
Okay.
You know? So like I've learned to like let go, but like again, it was like learning experiences, you know, from like failures and just going from there. Now, I think the latter part of your question
mentors
was,
or people you've looked up to since you were young or passed by,
no, I think well, number one, I would say my parents.
Okay.
Because I've seen like on paper, I wasn't supposed to be where I am today. On paper. You know, because when you see how we came up, how we grew up, like how my parents came from, and like, you know, like we weren't supposed to be here. But then I've seen the hard work that they did. You know, like my dad, like he's an amazing guy. You know, he's funny and all that stuff. But one thing he doesn't mess around with is his work. Like when it's time to work,
he works
in, like he works.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why I've been like inspired to like just like always going I when I work. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that like I'm honest and I am very like the work that I do is like it's honest work. You know, like because there have been like you get time like because even like as executives as an entrepreneur, like there's times that you can just, you know, like do the it's easy to do the wrong thing. You know, like you can like cheat. Because nobody's looking at your work. Like nobody's gonna like be like, oh no, you should be doing this. Like I'm the one in charge of the finances, for example. Like there are times where like, you know, you can cheat, you know, but it's like, that's what like the virtue that I've gotten from my parents, from my dad, just like be honest with my work, you know? And so there is that. My mom, oh man, my mom, she's an amazing woman. Like one of the biggest, it's something that like, I always joke about it with her is that she can negotiate anything. I remember once, I'm telling you, once we went to the market, and like there was this one guy, like I forgot what they were selling, and they were like, the price is 10,000 shillings. Okay, tell me why we left that place. We left that place, and my mom spent 2,000 shillings.
What?
She said 2,000 shillings. I'm not going any higher. He was like, no, come on, mama, 10,000.
And she
like,
stood firm on her word.
She's still firm.
Yeah.
And this is the selling point. This is how she sold it. Okay. She's like, you know what? I don't even want it anymore. And he's like, whoa.
That's the key, though. That's the key. You have to walk away and just be like,
walk away.
But like, from 10K to 2.
I was like, mama, come on, like, please. Like, how did you manage from 10 to 2?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, hey, man, like, that's just how it is. And so, like, you know, like, seeing them doing those things, I'm like, wow, like, you can literally, like, if there's something that you want that's out there, you can just go out there and get it, you know? So, you know, my parents played a big role. And I think the other mentors that I would say, like people that I've looked up to and I took things from them were like, I'm like in some of the athletes that I look at. So like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and also Michael Jordan. I don't know if you watched The Last Dance.
Yeah. Maybe.
If you haven't, I think like The Last Dance is like, if you're looking for motivation, watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you're like, oh man, I don't feel like doing anything, I feel The Last Dance is, because after that, I was just like locked in for a minute. Like for like a minute, I was just locked in, you know? Like some of the athletes, like the way they operate, and like one thing I remember is, that's actually how I even got into basketball, was the playoff, I think it was like 2016, when, I don't know if you know, like in the playoffs, they have like 7 games, and then the team that wins like either 4 out of the 7 wins the final. And so I remember Cleveland. That's what LeBron was playing. Cleveland was down 3-1 against the Warriors. So the Warriors just needed one game and then they won they won the final. But I remember LeBron going, I don't know what he tapped into, but they were 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, and then 4-3, and they won. From there, I was like, if these people can do it, what can I not do?
You see, this is the greatest leeway. Since we're talking about sports, this is the best leeway into AFCON 2024 winners, Côte d'Ivoire, Les ElevHomes.
Oh, yes.
Now, if nobody has watched AFCON, honestly, I don't watch sports. Personally, I don't watch sports. But when it's AFCON, I'm watching.
Yeah, you're locked in.
I'm locked in. Now, there's a couple countries in the continent that they love to give heartbreak. You know who you are. I will not mention you.
You know
but
exactly
when it comes
who
to
you are.
Côte d'Ivoire, when it comes to Cameroon, Senegal, certain countries, when they're playing, you can relax. You know. So for me, watching the game, when they say Côte d'Ivoire knocked out, I said, huh? How's that possible? How? And then also the fact that, number one, we're playing on home soil, right? Number two, they come up with a theme song.
Bruh.
That went worldwide.
Coup du marteau.
I was like, of all the time, because a lot of people are like, we're going to Côte d'Ivoire to watch the game. I wish I'd gone for the game.
I'm telling you.
It was magnificent. Like, if you haven't watched it, everything about it was just top notch.
Yeah.
And then the amount of artists, the amount of support. Now, I remember, so when the knockout stage happened, I was like, how Côte d'Ivoire is known to be playing? Why is this happening? Why? So after they got out, and then something happened where they were able to get back in. And then there's so many stories, but the coach and they took out the other coach. They brought in a coach who was an assistant coach that has never been on that level to at that stage to coach them. He knocked some people out of the team. I don't know when they found time to practice. And then I was like, okay, honestly, for me, I was like, I don't know what it's looking like. Usually Côte d'Ivoire, they're used to winning. Even one of the main I know their faces are in my head, but the soccer player, the football player that he had cancer like twice.
Is it Sergio here?
Maybe. He had he's the one who was one of the scorers.
Oh my goodness.
He's like part Côte d'Ivoire, part something else. Cornrows. If you don't know the name, it's okay. But him and then the guy who's really young.
Oh, is it Adingra?
Yes, he's really young. So, and that was one of his first top games of winning. So, this guy beats cancer twice.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about now.
Gosh, I know exactly who you're talking about. He plays in Germany. Yeah.
If you don't, him and then the whole team.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I don't know if they're gonna win now, but I had hope. They had hope. Then it's like now they're ranking up, and I was like, whoa. Now we're ranking up. Then the finals come, and I'm like, this is very nerve-wracking because the countries that they were knocking out were known as strong football playing countries. This is not just regular. These countries are known to play. So when those people started getting knocked out, I said, Then we get to the final game. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I was praying.
The noise that was being made on social media prior to the final game.
And we know why. We know why. Even because you had the whole continent on your back. You had your own, and then y'all go and win this after being underdogs. So as an Ivorian, as an ambassador of your people, how did that feel? Because I feel like I wanted to tell the people what happened so that they can understand.
Thank you.
Let us know.
Thank you. No, thank you. Because it was very important for you to explain what happened. As an Ivorian, there is a saying, there's like the Ivorian supporters, we call them supporters mazo.
Okay.
That means that in order for you to support Ivory Coast, be a fan of Ivory Coast, you need to make sure that your health is good.
Okay.
Yes. Because high blood pressure, anxiety, hurt, like your heart can stop at any time. Because this is what they do. They give you hope until the easy win. That's what they disappoint you and they lose. Because remember in the group stage when we lost, First game we won. We're happy, everything and not good. Second game we played against Nigeria, and we think it was like a penalty. We lost to a penalty or whatever, so we lost. And then the third game against Guinea, they gave 4-0. Imagine being the host.
The scores were
4-0.
mad.
Imagine being the host country. And fun fact, the golden boot, the one that scored the most goals, was a Guinean player. And he scored one of his goals against us. 4-0, we lost. Like I remember watching that game at 2-0, I just shut my laptop. I'm like, yep, let me just I have better things to do because ain't no way. 4-0. And then when we came back, because like I was like, oh, you know what? We'll probably just lose the next game. And then game after game after game after game, just going at it. You know, there's a saying, I think I'm going to say from English, from French. It's like, you cannot kill someone that's already dead. We were dead. We had already lost.
Yeah.
We already grieved. So literally, when we went for the next game after game, we had nothing to lose because we already lost.
Yeah.
So that's why each game was as important as the next. Because like this game, let's just focus on that one. We might lose, we might win, but let's focus on winning this game.
Yeah.
And the wins, it wasn't like guaranteed wins. Most of the wins were like, it was like last minute scores, last minute goal. So like imagine you're just on the edge of your seat for the entire game. And like your heart is racing. And you know, the thing is like, I think for me, and everyone will feel the same. This one particular cup, it wasn't that like, I've been watching soccer the whole time and all that stuff. But like this one was like, for some reason, I'm emotionally attached. Yeah. Because like, there were other games, like basketball games, I'm like, yeah, you know what? If we lose, we lose. Yeah. But this one is like, my heart was in it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, this is something that I even told myself, like, I can't do that. Like, you know, when you put your heart in something that you cannot control, you're pretty much setting yourself up for disappointment. Yeah. You know, and being disappointed, it just sucks. But then for this one in particular, I'm like, this is an unhealthy relationship that I have right now with this game. It's unhealthy. But I was just in there. Yeah. And like, man, the fact that we won, like the thing is like, there are just so many lessons to learn from this.
Honestly, that's what I'm saying is like, and as throughout this whole interview, I think you've spoken like indirectly about the lessons that you've learned kind of through this and like the things you've said about like certain sayings in Côte d'Ivoire because it's like, honestly, for me, when I'm down, I'm down. I'm like, there's no hope. Nothing's going to happen. But then I'm like, bruh, they were lost 4-0. And now you come and win. And even when they got to that stage, I was like, you know what? You're on home store. You have to win. You have to. You have to. There's no way you cannot win this.
You had to. Like me, I'm telling you, I forgot what he says. Action de grâce. I forgot what he said. Like we were in church praying because like the final game, I'm like, there's no way we're losing this game. Like, even though we were like, of course, I wasn't like, you know, like I was hoping that I was praying that we won, but like we just cannot lose. We can't just make it to the final and then be like, oh, let's just go for second place, you know. But then like even until the end, I think the reason, like one of the biggest things that we learned, I guess as Koreans, like we learned to be humble, because when we went into the AFCON, we came in like not confident. We came in arrogant and cocky. It's like, oh, we're hosting.
Yeah, we're home.
We're home, you know what I mean? It's easy. And then that loss, like it literally just like cut it. It's like, yo, you don't need to be arrogant. You don't need to be all that. And so like as soon as we're humbled, each game after game after game, you know, we have to like focus and just get to it. But like there were just so many lessons to learn, you know? And like
list 2 lessons. 2 lessons that we can take away from the AFCON of Ivory Coast winning.
Yeah. Number 1 is one step at a time. Okay. Just one step at a time. You know, anything can happen, but just one step at a time. Just focus until the end. This is something I love to say. Until the referee blows the final whistle, the game is not over. So you gotta keep playing. Just keep going. Like don't stop until it's over. Yeah. You know, that's number 1. And number 2, just like number 2 is to be humble, to be humble, but to also be confident. Like to believe in yourself. You know, because like if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? Like it all starts from you. That's why like even like with Elev, with all the different things that we've gotten, it's like it started off with us believing in ourselves. Yeah. And like sometimes, even if you have to lie to yourself before you get to do that thing, lie to yourself. but like know that like you got it. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, and so like just be confident, be humble in the process.
Yeah.
Like just go at it with a passion and just like stay confident because you got it. Like you were you meant to be, and you have everything in your power to succeed.
Amen. Let's church say amen. That was just preaching for me today. All right, we've come to the segment where you get to ask me a question or two. You can decide if you want to ask one or two. One would be great. But yes, spontaneous. I don't know what you're gonna ask me, but I'm gonna answer.
Let me see. That's a good question to ask you.
Hey.
So I guess my number one question is, what do you hope to achieve with this like podcast? Chop it up. Like, what would you define as like, you know what, this was successful?
What would be success? Obviously, if I make it like toss Spotify, listen, I'll be like, Spotify call me, Apple Music call me, other people call me. I think finally knowing if a lot of people, how do I explain this? I don't think there's any other platform right now, especially in the city, that kind of gives people of African descent the space for them to speak their own stories themselves.
Yeah.
So I think I want to be that catalyst, like that one that they're like, oh, where there's an interview, this artist or this person or this business is coming to town.
Yeah.
We need to call Lebanon. We need to be on her show. I want to be that.
Yeah.
This has been a long time coming. I even hit up the studio, I think it was 2021, 2022. Wow. So it's not something that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's been working in the background, and success would be it being inspiring people. Like even this episode, I think is going to inspire a lot of people. And there's so many different avenues of creativity. Not everything looks the same. Not everything is one dimensional. So I believe from every episode, somebody's going to take something. Somebody's going to be inspired by somebody who lives in the same city as them or in the same country. And just like you were saying, talking about growing up and what that process was like seeing where you're coming from and seeing where you're going. I want people to see it and be like, oh, well, I came from this as well. And it's similar to what this person's gone through. And I can also make it in my own way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really cool. And I have a second question. My second question is, what has been like some of the challenges? I guess what was the most challenging of stuff like working on this, like putting this together?
People being like, what is this? What, why, what, who, what, when, where, how? Yeah. And it's like, I used to write stories. Like I would interview people, video calls. So it's just taking that format into video. People are like, okay, what is it? Why? What? Like, it's just a lot of people don't understand it. Even family, they're like, what is going on? Why do you have to be doing it's just a lot of people not understanding it. Yeah. So if I was to go by what they were saying, I wouldn't pursue it. But I think it's just continuing to go forward it, and whatever happens, hopefully it's successful in Jesus' name.
100%.
If whatever happens, at least I can say I've done it. Yep. I've put something out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
My name is out there. 100%. So, and it's something that I want to extend. I'm starting it here in Edmonton. Maybe we'll do Calgary. Maybe I really want to get into the continent. There's lots of stories to tell. I want to go to the Caribbean. There's so many different people and so many networks I've made over time. And I think starting this it will help shift that. So there's been a lot of challenges, but sometimes I'm like, Lord, but I just try to push through it, and I know that the end product will be worth it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. Yeah.
So to close, can you let us know if there's any other projects or things that we should expect coming up, and also share any social media handles that people can connect with you? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think in terms of projects, you definitely want to stay tuned, because we are working on finding a way to make housing affordable for students, and we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and things are starting to shape up. Yeah. But this summer, something's coming. Something is coming. Yeah. Something big is coming, and many students will be able to find some places to stay off campus. And we have a huge project that's also coming up. We have a vision to revitalize and redefine the way student housing is being done. And so you definitely want to keep up with us. Our Instagram is ElevHomes, so ElevHomes. And so that's where you can find us. And you can also find me as well, because I do some people say that I'm a fun guy. So, yeah, you can also find me at JB Knows. So JAYBEEKNOWS.
Okay.
JB Knows. And yeah, you can find us on, yeah, but yeah, this is where you can find me, but ElevHomes on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and also like LinkedIn as well.
Okay, great. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've learned so much
Pleasure.
from you. Thank you for sharing your insight with us.
Pleasure.
So this has been another episode of Chop It Up. Thank you so much to our guests, and we hope you learned something today and take something away with you. Have a great night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and we hope to see you for another episode. Bye.
Bye.